Mars, the fourth planet from the Sun, has intrigued scientists, astronomers, and space enthusiasts for centuries. Named after the Roman god of war due to its reddish appearance, Mars has been a primary focus of space exploration, holding potential for past life, future colonization, and secrets about the evolution of our solar system. Let's explore some of the most interesting facts about Mars. Mars has a diameter of about 6,779 kilometers, roughly half the size of Earth. Its surface area is about 28% of Earth's total area, making it similar in landmass to all the continents combined. Mars' signature red color is due to iron oxide rust in the soil. The planet's dusty surface reflects sunlight, making it appear bright red when viewed from Earth. Olympus Mons is the largest volcano in the solar system. It stands about 22 kilometers, 13.6 miles, high, which is almost 3 times the height of Mount Everest. Olympus Mons has a diameter of about 600 kilometers, roughly the size of France. Valles Marineris, a canyon system on Mars, is the largest in the solar system. It stretches over 4,000 kilometers, 2,500 miles, 10 times longer than the Grand Canyon. The canyon is up to 7 kilometers deep, making it one of the most dramatic landscapes on any planet. One day on Mars, called a sol, lasts 24 hours and 37 minutes, just 37 minutes longer than an Earth day. Mars takes 687 Earth days to complete one revolution around the Sun. That means a Martian year is almost twice as long as an Earth year. Olympus Mons is not just the largest volcano but also the tallest mountain in the entire solar system. It is so large that if you stood at its base, its peak would reach beyond the Martian horizon. The northern polar cap is called Planum Boreum, and the southern cap is Planum Austral. During summer, the ice caps partially melt, releasing carbon dioxide into the thin atmosphere. Mars once had rivers, lakes, and possibly an ocean. NASA's Curiosity rover found evidence of ancient riverbeds and minerals that form in water. Scientists believe Mars may have had liquid water for millions of years, making it potentially habitable in the past. Mars' atmosphere is 100 times thinner than Earth's. It is composed mainly of carbon dioxide, 95.3%, with nitrogen, 2.7%, and argon, 1.6%. The thin atmosphere makes it unable to support human life without advanced technology. Mars has 2 small, irregularly shaped moons, Phobos and Deimos. Phobos is the larger moon and is slowly moving closer to Mars. In 50 million years, it might crash into the planet or break apart into a ring. Deimos is much smaller and orbits farther away. Mars has only 38% of Earth's gravity. A 100 kilograms person on Earth would weigh only 38 kilograms on Mars. Lower gravity affects muscle strength and bone density, a challenge for future astronauts. Mars is much colder than Earth due to its thin atmosphere. The average temperature is about -63 degrees Celsius -81 degrees Fahrenheit. In winter, temperatures can drop to -140 degrees Celsius -220 degrees Fahrenheit near the poles. Due to Mars' tilted axis, 25.2 degrees, it experiences seasons similar to Earth. However, since a year on Mars is longer, its seasons last twice as long as Earth's seasons. While Mars is too cold for surface water, NASA's Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter found possible underground lakes beneath the South Polar ice cap. This discovery raises the possibility of microbial life. Mars is one of the brightest planets visible to the naked eye. Every 26 months, Mars reaches opposition, meaning it's closest to Earth and fully illuminated by the sun. The Soviet Union, USA, Europe, and India have all sent missions to Mars. NASA's Curiosity, Perseverance, and Ingenuity helicopter are actively exploring the Martian surface. In 1997, NASA's Pathfinder mission carried Sojourner, the first robotic rover to explore Mars. Since then, rovers like Spirit, Opportunity, Curiosity, and Perseverance have followed. NASA and SpaceX plan to send humans to Mars in the 2030s. Elon Musk SpaceX is working on Starship, a rocket designed for interplanetary travel. Scientists are exploring ways to terraform Mars, making it habitable for humans. Ideas include releasing greenhouse gases, building underground colonies, and creating artificial magnetospheres. Unlike Earth's solid inner core, Mars' core is believed to be partially liquid or entirely molten. Data from NASA's InSight lander suggests that the core is composed of iron, nickel, and sulfur, but lacks a solid inner core like Earth's. The weak magnetic field on Mars hints at a lack of a protective dynamo effect, which is crucial for sustaining a thick atmosphere. Billions of years ago, Mars had a global magnetic field, similar to Earth's, which protected its atmosphere from solar winds. However, this magnetic field collapsed about 4 billion years ago, possibly due to the cooling of its core. Without this protection, Mars lost most of its atmosphere and surface water, making it the dry, barren world we see today. NASA's Mariner 4 was the first spacecraft to fly past Mars and send back 21 grainy black and white images. These images, taken on July 14, 1965, showed a cratered, moon-like landscape, shattering early hopes of discovering an Earth-like planet. Hellas Planitia is a massive impact crater, stretching 2,300 kilometers, 1,400 miles, across and reaching depths of 7 kilometers, 4.3 miles. Scientists believe it was formed billions of years ago by a colossal asteroid impact. The basin is so deep that its atmospheric pressure is higher than the rest of Mars, making it one of the few places where liquid water might exist on the surface today. Mars has two distinct surface features. The northern hemisphere is lower and smoother, likely the result of ancient volcanic activity or an enormous impact event. The southern hemisphere is older and heavily cratered, suggesting it has remained largely unchanged for billions of years. Methane has been detected in small, fluctuating amounts in Mars' atmosphere. On Earth, methane is mostly produced by biological processes, leading scientists to speculate about possible microbial life underground. However, methane can also be created through geological activity, so its exact source on Mars is still unknown. Massive dust devils, some stretching as high as Mount Everest, swirl across the Martian surface. These mini tornadoes pick up dust and can last for hours, sometimes cleaning off solar panels on rovers like Spirit and Opportunity. Unlike Earth's red sunsets, Mars has blue sunsets due to its thin atmosphere and fine dust particles. These particles scatter blue light more effectively than red light, giving the Martian sky a reddish hue during the day and a blue glow at sunset. In 1976, NASA's Viking 1 orbiter took a picture of a rock formation in the Cydonia region that appeared to resemble a human face. Some speculated that it was an alien-built structure, but later high-resolution images from the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter revealed it to be a natural mesa, proving it was just a trick of light and shadow. Over 50 missions have been sent to Mars, making it the most explored planet besides Earth. Many missions failed due to technical difficulties, crashes, or lost communication, earning Mars the nickname the Bermuda Triangle of space. The northern lowlands are relatively smooth, possibly shaped by ancient oceans. In contrast, the southern highlands have extreme terrain with deep craters, cliffs, and jagged mountains. Some regions even have glaciers buried under layers of dust. NASA's Ingenuity helicopter became the first aircraft to fly on another planet. The tiny drone, carried by the Perseverance rover, successfully performed multiple flights in Mars' thin atmosphere. Ingenuity proved that controlled flight is possible on Mars, paving the way for future aerial explorers. Satellite images suggest that the northern plains may have once been covered by an ocean. Shoreline-like structures and river deltas provide strong evidence that Mars had liquid water billions of years ago. If Mars had an ocean, it would have covered about 1/3 of the planet. NASA and private companies like SpaceX aim to send the first humans to Mars within the next 15 to 20 years. This means that the first Mars astronauts may already be alive today, training for their historic journey. Since Mars has only 38% of Earth's gravity, you could jump nearly 3 times higher than on Earth. If you weighed 70 kilograms, 154 pounds, on Earth, you'd weigh only 26.6 kilograms, 58 pounds, on Mars. Mars has a similar day length to Earth, 24 hours and 37 minutes. However, because it is farther from the Sun, Mars gets only about 43% of the sunlight Earth receives. Space agencies and private companies are designing 3D printed Martian habitats using locally available materials like Martian soil and ice. These habitats could protect astronauts from radiation and harsh weather. Due to low gravity and thin atmosphere, liquid water instantly boils and evaporates on the surface. If you cried on Mars, your tears would never fall. They'd turn into vapor almost immediately. Some scientists believe Mars could be transformed into a habitable planet by releasing greenhouse gases to warm the planet, building giant mirrors to reflect sunlight onto its surface, using nuclear reactors to melt ice caps and release water vapor. However, current technology isn't advanced enough to make Mars fully habitable anytime soon. Sound waves travel through air, and since Mars' atmosphere is much thinner than Earth's, sounds on Mars would be quieter and lower-pitched. NASA's Perseverance rover recorded Martian wind and laser zaps from its instruments, proving that sound exists on Mars but travels slower than on Earth. Mars' sky appears reddish during the day due to dust particles scattering sunlight. However, during sunrises and sunsets, the sky appears blue because the fine dust particles scatter red light away, allowing more blue light to pass through. NASA's Sojourner rover, part of the Pathfinder mission, became the first rover to successfully explore Mars in 1997. It traveled only 100 meters in 83 days but paved the way for more advanced rovers like Spirit, Opportunity, Curiosity, and Perseverance. Unlike Earth, Mars lacks a strong magnetic field and thick atmosphere, making it highly exposed to cosmic rays and solar radiation. This poses a serious health risk for future astronauts, who may need underground shelters or radiation-proof habitats. Astronauts spending long periods on Mars would lose muscle mass and bone density due to the low gravity, 38% of Earth's. Long-term missions might require astronauts to exercise daily and wear special suits to counteract muscle deterioration. NASA's InSight mission detected Marsquakes, which are seismic activities similar to earthquakes. These quakes reveal that Mars has a crust, mantle, and core, though the core remains partially molten. Martian winds shape massive sand dunes, similar to deserts on Earth. The largest sand dunes on Mars, found in the Olympia-Undi region, stretch for hundreds of kilometers. Some Martian meteorites found on Earth contain structures that resemble fossilized bacteria. The most famous, ALH 84001, was discovered in Antarctica and sparked debates about possible ancient Martian life. NASA's Opportunity rover holds the record for the longest distance driven on another planet, 45 kilometers, 28 miles, over 15 years before losing contact in 2018. Since Mars lacks fertile soil, a breathable atmosphere, and liquid water, growing food would require advanced hydroponic or aeroponic systems inside sealed greenhouses. Scientists are experimenting with growing crops in simulated Martian soil. Mars follows an elliptical, oval-shaped orbit, meaning its distance from the Sun varies more than Earth's. This variation affects seasonal temperatures, making winters colder and summers warmer in some regions. A Martian day, 24 hours and 37 minutes, is called a sol. NASA's rovers use sol-based calendars to plan operations. Billions of years ago, Mars had a thicker atmosphere, allowing liquid water to flow. As the planet's magnetic field weakened, solar winds stripped away the atmosphere, leaving behind the thin layer we see today. Mars has frozen water in its polar ice caps and beneath the surface. Future missions could extract water for drinking, oxygen, and even rocket fuel by splitting hydrogen and oxygen molecules. The coldest temperature recorded on Mars is around -140 degrees Celsius, -220 degrees Fahrenheit at the winter poles. Even during the summer, Mars rarely reaches above 20 degrees Celsius, 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Mars has a 25.2 degree axial tilt, similar to Earth's 23.5 degree tilt. This tilt causes seasonal changes, but since Mars takes twice as long to orbit the Sun, its seasons last twice as long as Earth's. NASA and ESA, European Space Agency, plan to bring Martian rock samples back to Earth for analysis. The Perseverance rover is drilling and storing core samples for a future mission. SpaceX's Starship rocket is being designed to carry humans to Mars with the goal of creating a self-sustaining colony by the 2050s. Musk envisions 1 million people living on Mars, using solar power and dome habitats. Satellite images show remains of ancient dunes covered by lava or dust. These dunes indicate that Mars once had strong winds and a more active atmosphere. Besides NASA, private companies like SpaceX, Blue Origin, and Relativity Space are racing to send humans to Mars. The first human mission may be a collaboration between governments and private industries. NASA, ESA, and SpaceX are planning crewed missions to Mars by the 2030s or 2040s. The Artemis program, which aims to establish a lunar base, is considered a stepping stone to Mars. The Mars Direct Plan proposes sending supplies and habitats first, followed by astronauts. Mysterious dark formations near the south pole of Mars are called spiders. These formations occur when carbon dioxide ice sublimates, turns directly into gas, creating pressure that blasts out dust. NASA scientists working with rovers on Mars adjust their schedules to Martian days, sols. This causes time drift, where researchers on Earth live out of sync with regular Earth days. Scientists have discovered cave-like lava tubes beneath the Martian surface. These tubes could serve as natural radiation shelters for future astronauts. Some slopes on Mars show seasonal dark streaks, called recurring slope lineae, RSL. These may be caused by briny, salty water flowing during warm months. A Mars mission would involve months of isolation, extreme environments, and communication delays, up to 24 minutes. NASA is testing isolation experiments in places like Hawaiian lava tubes to prepare astronauts. Unlike Earth, Mars' thin atmosphere doesn't protect it well from meteoroids. Small space rocks frequently crash into the surface, creating fresh craters. NASA's Opportunity rover found tiny round pebbles, called hematite blueberries, on Mars. These iron-rich formations typically form in water, supporting the idea of Mars' watery past. Martian soil lacks nutrients, so astronauts will need advanced hydroponics. NASA has successfully grown lettuce, wheat, and radishes in Mars-like soil. Scientists don't know if humans can reproduce in Mars gravity, 38% of Earth's. Future studies may focus on how microgravity affects human development. SpaceX aims to reduce the cost of Mars trips to $200,000 or less per person. The Starship rocket could be reused, lowering costs dramatically. Scientists suggest placing a giant magnetic shield at Mars' L1 Lagrange point. This could help restore Mars' atmosphere by blocking solar wind. Some areas of Mars have never experienced seismic activity. This means future Martian colonies could be built in these stable zones. Since Mars has subsurface water, scientists believe microbial life could exist deep below the surface. The ExoMars rover, ESA, will drill up to 2 meters underground to search for life. NASA has tested 3D printing habitats using Martian soil simulants. Future bases might be built using robotic 3D printers before astronauts arrive. Mars' thin air makes parachutes less effective, so landers need retro rockets or inflatable airbag systems. The Curiosity and Perseverance rovers used the Sky Crane system for a soft landing. The Hellas Planitia region has the highest atmospheric pressure on Mars. This area is one of the best places for a human colony. Unlike Earth, Mars' polar ice caps contain frozen carbon dioxide, dry ice. During summer, parts of the South Pole sublimates, releasing gas into the atmosphere. NASA found that some impact craters have exposed water ice just below the surface. This ice could be a key resource for future astronauts. Since solar power is weak on Mars, NASA is developing mini-nuclear reactors. These kilopower reactors could provide energy for bases and rovers. A strange bright white rock formation on Mars has puzzled scientists for years. It is likely salt deposits, but some believe it could be evidence of ancient lakes. Space agencies propose inflatable domes filled with Earth-like air for colonists. These domes could be made from self-healing materials to withstand dust storms. A Martian year lasts 687 Earth days or 668 sols. This means seasonal planning for crops and survival will be different from Earth. Starship, the world's most powerful rocket, is being designed to carry 100 people per trip. A cargo mission to Mars could happen before 2030. The largest dune field on Mars, Olympia Undi, covers hundreds of kilometers. This massive desert shifts over time, just like Earth's Sahara Desert. Unlike moon suits, Mars suits must be flexible, lightweight, and radiation-resistant. NASA's Z2 suit is designed for Mars' lower gravity and thin air. SpaceX and NASA are considering naming the first Mars settlement Mars Alpha. It could be a research outpost before becoming a full colony. Future space tourism companies plan to build orbiting hotels around Mars. Tourists could visit for short stays, avoiding the harsh surface. Some experts suggest pregnant women should give birth in space before landing on Mars. This avoids unknown effects of Martian gravity on fetal development. Scientists agree that if humans become interplanetary, Mars will be the first step. Space agencies and private companies see Mars as the most habitable planet beyond Earth. AI-powered robots and drones will play a crucial role in building Mars bases before humans arrive. AI could help manage resources, navigate terrain, and assist in scientific research. Some craters and slopes have gullies that look like dry riverbeds. These may have been carved by ancient liquid water or dry ice processes. Initial Mars crews will likely be small teams of scientists, engineers, and medical experts. Terraforming and colonization could take decades or centuries. Since Mars' atmosphere is 100 times thinner than Earth's, landing spacecraft need supersonic parachutes, retrothrusters, or inflatable heat shields. The Mars 2020 mission used a sky crane to lower the Perseverance rover safely. If we want to make Mars Earth-like, it could take centuries to thousands of years. The main challenges include thickening the atmosphere to trap heat, generating oxygen for breathable air, creating liquid water sources. Some Martian rocks are over 4 billion years old. Scientists study these to understand early planetary formation. Long-term Mars residents might develop weaker bones due to low gravity, 38% of Earth's. This could make returning to Earth difficult, as their bodies adapt to Mars conditions. Without Earth's magnetic field, Mars is constantly bombarded by solar and cosmic radiation. Martian bases will need underground bunkers or radiation-proof shielding. Some scientists propose releasing CO2 from polar ice caps to thicken the atmosphere. This could create a greenhouse effect, warming the planet naturally. Martian regolith soil contains perchlorates, which are toxic to humans. Before farming, astronauts must detoxify the soil using microbes or chemical processes. Mars lacks GPS satellites, but future missions could use stars, surface landmarks, and AI for navigation. Due to high costs and health risks, the first Mars settlers might stay permanently. They would need self-sustaining habitats, food production, and medical care. Since resupply missions take years, Mars colonies will need 3D printers for tools and repairs. Phobos and Deimos could be refueling stations or research outposts before landing on Mars. Some models suggest Mars once had a vast ocean in the northern hemisphere. This ocean could have been hundreds of meters deep. Musk envisions a self-sustaining Mars city by 2050, using Starship rockets to transport thousands of people. Mars' atmosphere once contained more oxygen, possibly supporting ancient life. Solar panels might be covered in dust, cutting off power. Future bases may use nuclear or wind energy. Scientists are researching ways to create a magnetic shield to protect Mars from solar wind and radiation. Because Mars has lower gravity, building a space elevator is more feasible than on Earth. This could make cargo transportation easier. NASA and private companies are designing pressurized vehicles for long-distance Mars travel. Most of Mars is red, but small areas have blue-green sand, caused by volcanic minerals. Large craters offer natural protection from radiation and dust storms. If technology advances, commercial Mars travel could be possible within the next 50 to 75 years. Mars is rich in iron, nickel, and possibly rare minerals that could be exported to Earth. If colonization happens, the first humans born on Mars could be within the next few decades. If humans live on Mars for generations, they might develop taller, thinner bodies due to low gravity. NASA, SpaceX, and China's space agency are in a race to land the first human on Mars. Future Mars settlers may write their own laws, creating a Martian government. Since a Martian year is 687 days, future settlers might create a new calendar system. With rapid advancements in space travel, robotics, and AI, Mars is closer than ever to becoming humanity's second home.